All right, so let's get something straight first. You know, this is not a medical mask. This is an accessory with some mask qualities, with RGB, transparent midsection, so you can see my lips. So no longer do you have to hide behind a mask in terms of your emotions. And also, there is no built-in microphone like there was supposed to be, or like there was on the previous Project Hazel, whereas the Zephyr, it's basically just a plastic contraption with two fans, filters in a few areas, and you know, head straps and neck straps, so this thing can be comfortable, because at 200 grams, so like just slightly over that, you know, it's heavy, it presses on your nose, and it's also a little bit too small for me. So it's definitely unique in a space of where you might need a mask on a daily basis. So is the Razer Zephyr worth it at $99? Whew. Well, how about we find out right after this. Ooh, a 30mm frame, so it's a little thicker, ideal for multiple locations, but is the performance mind-blowing? Exactly. Introducing the new T30 fans from Fantex, the ultimate fan for radiators, heatsinks, and cases where you need powerful airflow with an excellent sound profile. The 3 RPM mode switch is a clever integration, you gotta appreciate daisy chain potential, and of course, a good looking fan will keep the system clean. Check out the T30 fan down below. So first of all, design-wise, it definitely feels like something out of a Blade Runner movie. It could 100% be maybe useful on a film set with a future apocalyptic type of environment, and you know, this is something very easy to recreate in the current day and age. To be honest, I was self-conscious of wearing this thing in public for the first couple of hours just because it's so bulky, it's very different, it has RGB elements, it's almost like you're coming out from a construction site or something, but nobody gave me a weird look or anything like that. So on the one hand, it's a good thing because I was a lot more comfortable, you know, an hour later with this thing, but it's also a little bit unfortunate, right? Now, what do we get inside? We have the Zephyr mask itself. We have two types of filters, the round ones that you populate on each side of the mask, right on top of the fan, and this magnetic cover that just snaps in place. And this really small filter for the mouthpiece through which you breathe and also speak through. That's why the volume is so bad here, but just pop them in. There's little pegs in there that hold the filter in place and another magnetic plate on top of that. In total, we have 3 sets of filters, so you're supposed to swap these out every 3 days if you're wearing it 8 hours a day. So not ideal in an environment where you have to constantly be changing filters, but of course that is the nature of the mask, of wanting to be hygienic as well. But you do need to going to be needing to purchase additional filters in the future. The filters are also quite expensive, which is unfortunate because they're so tiny. You might as well just wear a normal N95 mask by itself, which brings us to the hygienic, you know, options of this thing. So it is not a medical mask in any way, but it is supposed to act as your N95 equivalent in terms of protection. Now, at first I was wondering, like, why do we need the fans on each side here, right? But in reality, it's basically just a plastic box with some soft silicone around your mouth to create a seal. But if there are no fans in there, you wouldn't be able to actually breathe, right? So you need that intake of those tiny fans. And the one thing is that at full volume, it sounds like a tiny drone that's flying around you somewhere. It's a little bit annoying. Of course, you can turn down the fan to low and it's still audible. And of course, you can turn it off. But if you do that, then it's basically, you know, a little hot box in there. You don't get that much airflow. So a few more things. The silicone piece is removable, so you can wash it with soapy water every time you change out the filters, so you can keep the mask clean. It is not waterproof, the mask. Like, it's not recommended you walk out with it in the rain, obviously because of the electronics, so you have to be careful with that. And the battery is supposed to last for 8 hours with the fan on low without any RGB. So, you know, with RGB illumination, this thing is going to die very soon, especially if you have the fans on. You can use the mask without the fans enabled, but it does introduce a little bit more like warmth into that area, and it's a bit uncomfortable. In terms of size, it's a bit too small for me in terms of the interior. I wish that like silicone suction thing was a bit larger to give me a little bit more of a surface area that can go around my mouth. But it's not uncomfortable, and as long as you have the straps, you know, in the proper areas, then they also support the weight of the mask, because the mask is fairly heavy. Like, it's almost the size or the weight of a standard headset. So imagine wearing a headset equivalent weight right in front of your mouth. I really hope you guys can hear me through that, but also you probably can hear the fan as well. So that's full speed, low, and when it's off, it's completely silent. Of course, given the size of this thing, you cannot just fold it and stash it in your pocket. It is not uncomfortable around your neck, but it's definitely not low profile either. It is very interesting to see this RGB illumination built in that's actually kind of thoughtful. So not only do we have the RGB rings around each filter, but we also have interior mouth illumination that you can change to any color you want. So this is proper full out RGB illumination that works wonderfully. As long as you don't choose some weird color around your mouth, because that looks strange. So I've worn this thing for about 3 days, both inside the house and outside. I'm getting more comfortable wearing this outdoors, but of course, I just prefer to have my N95 mask in my pocket whenever I need it and replace that instead of needing to swap out these filters and pay Razer insane amount of money. I am noticing a lot more gunk accumulation on the interior, so it is good that that transparent section reveals your mouth, so you can be one of those people that people can see through the mask when you are showing emotion or you're speaking through, but it does also show off the gunk that is on the other side of this glass. And I actually prefer to leave the RGB lighting on the interior to be off, so it just looks like a standard mask with some RGB illumination and not really show off my mouth that way. So basically that interior part is a bit too small for me, and all exhaust, or at least a lot of it that I'm feeling, comes through the right side, right above my nose, going directly into my eye and into my glasses as well. So wearing this mask with my glasses is absolutely a no-no, especially because you can't just fold the mask underneath the glasses to avoid fogging up. Probably the most fleshed out thing about this thing is the software experience. So you can change the color, it connects to your phone with Bluetooth, you can actually see the battery percentage as well. It's very intuitive and easy to use. It charges with the USB-C connector, which is pretty crazy. It has some lighting to indicate when the battery is low, when you're trying to pair, when it doesn't have anything paired onto it. And of course, we have that button on the right side to control the fan, so you don't have to go into the app. So what to say? This thing is very strange and weird. Obviously, there's a lack of vocal clarity and vocal volume because there's this plastic thing on your mouth that doesn't let out a lot of the volume. It's not very comfortable because the interior part is a bit too small for me, and for some reason a lot of the air gets exhausted on this side, which I don't know why. I think I have a pretty symmetrical face. The RGB element is very cool, of course. The app works very well. And I'm gonna need to turn on the fan because it's getting a little toasty in there. And it's also quite expensive, right? Like for $99, this is a cool prop for maybe a movie or like whatever, some photo session. But I doubt we'll see many people using this on a daily basis for their mask needs because of all the drawbacks. I'm not sure if you heard that last part. And so that is the Razer Zephyr. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'm Dmitry, thanks so much for watching. As always, stay responsible. I'll talk to you in the next video.